Let me ask you something, and you can answer in the comments. If Donald Trump was in fact working with our enemies to weaken the United States of America, would he be doing anything differently? I want you to think about that as I show you some of these clips, because once again, Trump has proved Kamala Harris's debate prediction 100% correct with the statements he made at his rally yesterday. Let me show you. Before I show you, remember to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We are on the road to 3.5 million subscribers. So yesterday at his rally, speaking in Indiana, Pennsylvania, Trump blamed Russia's invasion of Ukraine on America. Watch.
Naturally, they're reduced now to using young boys and old men, young boys and old men, because their people have been killed. So many of their people have been killed that they are using young boys to fight the war and old men. How about that? It's what a horrible thing has happened just because, and it's our fault because it's a war that should have never been allowed to happen. And we had the power that it would never have happened. We have an incompetent leader.
And now let me actually remind you of Vice President Harris's statements during the debate, where she's told him to his face at this debate that it is well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for him to be president. Watch.
It is very well known that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself. It is well known that he said of Putin that he can do whatever the hell he wants and go into Ukraine. It is well known that he said when Russia went into Ukraine, it was brilliant. It is well known he exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-un. And it is absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear. They can manipulate you with flattery and favors. And that is why so many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace. That is why we understand that we have to have a president who is not consistently weak and wrong on national security, including the importance of upholding and respecting in highest regard our military.
Then Vice President Harris told Trump to tell the 800,000 Polish Americans in Pennsylvania that he would give up in Ukraine and cede the country to Russia. Watch.
Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president and that we understand the importance of the greatest military alliance the world has ever known, which is NATO, and what we have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence. Otherwise, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
So it should be of no surprise that Polish Americans yesterday officially endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris over their concerns regarding Vladimir Putin and the invasion of Ukraine. Donald Trump at his rally in Indiana starts talking about Viktor Orban, the autocratic dictator of Hungary. Some person in the crowd shouts out, "Yeah!" Watch.
Viktor Orban, who's the prime minister of Hungary, he said, if you want to...
Then Trump mocked Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
I think Zelensky's the greatest salesman in history. Every time he comes into the country, he walks away with $60 billion. Billion! Walks in with $60 billion. He wants them to win this election so badly. But I would do differently. I will work out peace as president-elect. If I win this election, the first thing I'm going to do is call up Zelensky and call up President Putin, and I'm going to say, you got to make a deal. This is crazy.
And Trump said that we are going to die?
Because I don't know why. Number one, the country's going to die.
I mean, that's a weird thing to say during your stump speech. Donald Trump also wants to cede electric vehicle production to other countries, particularly China. He doesn't want America to be innovating and to be involved in industries of the future. He wants to send those overseas. Here's Donald Trump surrendering to China.
And because they have the material, we don't. What we have is a thing called gasoline. We have gasoline. We have so much gasoline, we don't know what to do. They don't have gasoline. So why are we making a product that they dominate? They're going to dominate.
And this is a common theme with Donald Trump. In the face of any difficulty, he always capitulates. He capitulated to Russia, to Saudi Arabia, and now he plans to give our entire electric vehicle market to China and let them be the leaders in the space. That would be so devastating for American workers. Donald Trump has this vision of us being best friends with Russia and China, and he says, I'm going to get Russia to settle up with Ukraine, and we're all going to be great friends. It's all going to be great. Watch.
We've been treated, I think, very unfairly, but I've done so well. It's an amazing country in some ways, but we have evil forces. You have the outside forces with the enemies, and you call them Russia, China, various places. I don't know that they're enemies. I think we'll get along great with China. I think we'll get along great with Russia. I want to get Russia to settle up with Ukraine and stop this. Millions of people being killed, far greater than the number you read about. But I want to get that done before I even take office. I want to get that done as president-elect.
And do you remember this video when Donald Trump said that Russia isn't a threat, but Americans are a threat? It's our intelligence agencies that are a threat, our representatives that are a threat. Watch.
At home, the State Department, the defense bureaucracy, the intelligence services, and all of the rest need to be completely overhauled and reconstituted to fire the deep staters and put America first. We have to put America first. Finally, we have to finish the process we began under my administration of fundamentally reevaluating NATO's purpose and NATO's mission. Our foreign policy establishment keeps trying to pull the world into conflict with a nuclear-armed Russia based on the lie that Russia represents our greatest threat. But the greatest threat to Western civilization today is not Russia. It's probably, more than anything else, ourselves and some of the horrible USA-hating people that represent us.
And former Trump officials have been sounding the alarm on this very issue. Do you remember when former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton said that if Trump is reelected, it would mean the end of NATO as we know it? Watch.
It's great to have you. I just wonder, kind of bluntly, if Donald Trump is reelected, do you think that means the end of NATO as we know it now?
Yeah, yes, I do. I think he will withdraw. I think you have to take what he's saying is coming directly from what he has long been saying privately and in some cases publicly. It's a little disturbing now to hear some Republicans saying, well, he's just bargaining with NATO, or this is just the way he talks. That's not right. He has used this failure of many members, a majority of NATO members, to spend 2% of their GDP on defense, as they all voluntarily committed to do in 2014, not to strengthen NATO, but to help destroy it. It is true that after his criticisms, more was spent by European members of NATO on defense. But that wasn't going to change his mind, because there were a lot of other criticisms he had as well. So, it is, I was there with him in the spring of 2018 at the NATO summit in Brussels, where he damn near did get out of NATO. He is serious about it. And whether you're a Trump supporter or a Trump opponent, don't think he's kidding about this one.
Yeah.
And none of this should be surprising. I think we all remember that horrific moment in Helsinki when Donald Trump took the word of Vladimir Putin over our own intelligence agencies. Remember this?
My first question for you, sir, is who do you believe? My second question is, would you now, with the whole world watching, tell President Putin, would you denounce what happened in 2016, and would you warn him to never do it again?
So let me just say that we have two thoughts. You have groups that are wondering why the FBI never took the server. Haven't they taken the server? Why was the FBI told to leave the office of the Democratic National Committee? I've been wondering that. I've been asking that for months and months, and I've been tweeting it out and calling it out on social media. Where is the server? I want to know, where is the server and what is the server saying? With that being said, all I can do is ask the question. My people came to me, Dan Coates came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be, but I really do want to see the server. But I have confidence in both parties. I really believe that this will probably go on for a while, but I don't think it can go on without finding out what happened to the server. What happened to the servers of the Pakistani gentlemen that worked on the DNC? Where are those servers? They're missing. Where are they? What happened to Hillary Clinton's emails? 33,000 emails gone, just gone. I think in Russia they wouldn't be gone so easily. I think it's a disgrace that we can't get Hillary Clinton's 33,000 emails. So I have great confidence in my intelligence people, but I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today. And what he did is an incredible offer. He offered to have the people working on the case come and work with their investigators with respect to the 12 people. I think that's an incredible offer. Okay, thank you.
During the 2016 campaign, when he solicited Russia for dirt on Hillary Clinton.
Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably be rewarded mightily by our press.
Or do you remember when Donald Trump was speaking in front of the New York Economic Club and he touted getting an endorsement from Kim Jong-un?
And Viktor Orban, a very strong man. He's the Prime Minister of Hungary. He said the only thing missing from the world right now is President Trump. He kept the world safe because everybody was afraid of him. I don't like that term, but that's the term he used. I would like to say respected him and respected our country, but he didn't say that. He said everybody was afraid of him. He said China was afraid, Russia was afraid. They were all afraid. Kim Jong-un, I got along great with him. And I try to explain to the fake news media that getting along with people, foreign countries, is a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a very good thing. It's a smart thing.
Now, you ready for this contrast? Let's hear what Vice President Harris had to say about cozying up to dictators. Watch.
I will never hesitate to take whatever action is necessary to defend our forces and our interests against Iran and Iran-backed terrorists. I will not cozy up to tyrants and dictators like Kim Jong-un who are rooting for Trump. Because, you know, they know he is easy to manipulate with flattery and favors. They know Trump won't hold autocrats accountable because he wants to be an autocrat himself. And as president, I will never waver in defense of America's security and ideals because in the enduring struggle between democracy and tyranny, I know where I stand and I know where the United States belongs.
Folks, so I go back to the question that I asked you in the beginning of this video. If Donald Trump was in fact working with our enemies to weaken the United States of America, would he be doing anything differently? I want to hear your response now after you've seen all those clips together in the comments below. Let me know what you think. And come on, that contrast with Vice President Kamala Harris could not be clearer. She actually stands up for democracy, stands up for American values, and stands up to our enemies. And that's what we want to see in a president of the United States. Hey, thank you so much for watching. And as always, thank you so much for sharing these videos. It really helps, share these videos with friends, leave comments, like, hit the subscribe button. All of that stuff really helps to get the stuff out there. We really appreciate it. All right. That's it for me for right now. I'll see you in a bit.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.